As the world marks International Literacy Day, the Department of Basic Education and DataDrive2030, an early childhood research organization, is launching the Thrive by 5 Index 2024 in Sandton, Johannesburg. This is South Africa's most extensive survey of preschool child development. The index measures children's development in 3 key areas. That's early learning, physical growth, and social and emotional functioning. SABC News reporter Mbalenhle Mthethwa joins us live from Sandton. Good afternoon, Mbalenhle. The importance of Literacy Day, or literacy in general, cannot be overstated. Many have said it's a foundation for equality and sustainable development, among others. Now, you're in Sandton there at that specific launch by Thrive by 5, that specific index. Just share with us some of what has come out already.
Well, very concerning numbers have come out, Mfundo, and, you know, what we've learned and established so far is that only 40% of children in early childhood programs or early childhood development programs are able to meet their developmental expectations at their age. Now, Thrive by 5 went and did a survey just focusing on children who are 4 years old, and in order to come up with this data that has been delivered here in Sandton. Very concerning, especially when we consider the fact that we also have data coming out of the Pearls research, which it demonstrated that a number of children, or 81% of children in grade 4, cannot read for meaning. Very, very concerning. And this is just an indication of the fact that a lot more still needs to be done by the Department of Basic Education. I'm joined by the Minister for Basic Education, Siviwe Gwarube. Thank you so much for your time, Minister. Minister, very concerning. Less than 50% of children in early childhood development are seemingly meeting those primary or developmental milestones, but there are many who are falling far behind. And we also hear that, you know, the economic conditions or circumstances with which they come from also has an impact in terms of how they perform. Your thoughts on this?
Concerning indeed. However, I think it's really important that as government leaders, we don't shy away from evidence, data-led and evidence-based decision-making. As concerning as it is, what it does now is that it holds a mirror to us to say that only 42% of children who were tested, who were in the sample, by the age of 4 will be able to meet their cognitive developmental milestones by the age of 5. It then says to us that the importance of grade R becomes a lot more, pronounced, because if children aren't thriving in all of these sort of milestones by 5, it means then by the age 6, when they get to compulsory grade 1, they are likely going to be falling behind. So it therefore says, what are we going to do to make sure that we're strengthening grade R? And there are a number of things that we're already doing there, including upgrading practitioners who were otherwise didn't possess a B.Ed, but to make sure that that's done. But what this also does is that it affirms the strategy we've been talking about that says we are reorientating the system strategically to focus on the foundations of learning. That we are saying that the matric result is not the only marker of a good education system or the benchmark of a good education system. We have to ask ourselves the question, between 3-year to 5-year-olds, are they meeting the right cognitive development milestones? Because those foundations are what set children up to be able to read and read for meaning. We can't obsess about whether or not children are taking maths and science and if they're performing well if we don't get these foundations right. So for one, it's affirming. Number two, as tough as it is to see these figures, it's affirming that the strategy we've undertaken is the right one. But at the same time, it's also saying to our partners, this is the direction that we need to move.
Speaking of direction in which you need to move as the department, how can you assist in terms of ensuring that those who are teaching in those early childhood development spaces are well equipped to do so and are educated? And what sort of resources can you also, share with those schools?
So firstly, I think the fact that we've got 10 billion rand, which has been injected into the space, is one, the starting point. point. Number two, we've got what we call the Mbalenhle Mthethwa registration drive, because we want to know where all our early learning programs are, or our ECDs are, because we've got an entire package of support that we're giving them. One, either the upgrading of practitioners and giving them a qualification and recognizing obviously their prior learning and the work that they've done, but giving them also something to hang on to. Number two, making sure that children have access to school nutrition. A number of the figures that we saw here, we're seeing at least 7% of children in South Africa being stunted by the age of 5, an irreversible but completely avoidable condition. Number three, we're also making sure that the infrastructure is conducive. Number four, and most importantly, we're making sure that once an ECD center is registered, that they have the equipment they need, whether it's storybooks, whether it is educational toys. And we really have a really vibrant NGO sector that's walking this journey with us. We also have some corporate partners here. You would have seen a number of our corporate partners who are saying, we want to help you move in this direction, because ultimately this is about South Africa's future workforce, and this is how we're going to undo inequality in South Africa. We're not going to undo it unless we get the foundations of learning right.
Okay. Now, Minister, during your presentation, you spoke about the fact that, there is a need to bridge a gap between the haves and the have-nots, and ensure that those who come from disadvantaged communities are also able to thrive in schools. How do we do that?
And that, for me, is also one of the most heartbreaking things, because we are starting to see that the children who come from poor households either don't have access to books at home, they're not being read to at home, and that is actually the element where we need to focus on making sure that in each and every community there's an early learning program, an ECD that is well equipped, that has the right practitioners, that has the right resources and the nutrition. Because while as the Department of Education we may not be able to do something about the unemployment rate or the issue around poverty in particular, but we have a responsibility to make sure that we meet poor children exactly where they are. So that's how we manage to bridge that gap.
Now, Minister, when it comes to parents, the research that we've heard demonstrates that a lot of parents do not know and cannot identify the fact that their children, or when their children are falling behind, and in fact they feel that their children are on par and are probably even doing better than their peers. What message would you then have to parents, or send out to parents to just alert them regarding this?
Firstly, I would implore parents to say that it's never too early to send your child to a quality early learning program or an ECD center. And a lot of parents sometimes have trepidations about that. And I think it's important, because that's where you've got a convergence of the Department of Education, Department of Health, where we can be able to do screenings. If children are falling behind, of perhaps special needs, we can be able to identify all of those things. Yes, our offering is not yet perfect, but I really want to implore parents to also take an active role in the development of their children. We are making free to download books. We are making sure that we're getting into communities so that parents have access to books that are in their home languages. We have to change the culture in South Africa where parents take an active role, are reading to their children, and are making sure that they get access to good quality early learning programs.
Thank you so much. There you have it. That is Minister for Basic Education speaking to us on the sidelines of the release of that Thrive by 5 index, which has been released. And the numbers are not looking very pretty in comparison to 2021. And you'll remember that that was in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. And it would seem as though very little progress has been done in terms of preparing young children and ensuring that they're able to meet their developmental milestones. And the truth is, the only way we are going to be able to find out if the measures that the minister is speaking of are going to yield the necessary results will be in the next 3 years, when the next index is released to the public. For now, it is a wait and see.